Comedian and podcaster Joe Rogan wants you to stop complaining, get your ass back to work.
A high level of anxiety today. You know, it's this Roe versus Wade thing. I saw it in the news and I need a mental health day. F you. Show up at work. Show up at work and work harder. Get the f
You
out
need
of
to
here
be a
with
bit
this.
more animated, Joe.
Now, that was from a recent segment on his very popular podcast, making fun of people who might be legitimately impacted in a negative way by the Supreme Court, ripping away the rights of millions of women. Joe, I thought you cared about women. I thought Joe Rogan, isn't Joe Rogan a defender of women and women's rights? Oh, right, I guess as long as you need women to attack trans people, trans women, who are also women, by the way. No, the audacity of going after people for needing a fucking break, a mental break, is amazing. This is coming from somebody who barely works for a living. And look, the guy, literally, he's like, yeah, I want to make a podcast where I sit and smoke weed and bullshit with my friends. Well, there you go. And watch YouTube videos. But hey, look, I've watched some of his stuff. I've watched Joe Rogan before. The guy ain't doing a whole lot of research for his segments to make sure that he is with the facts. You know what I'm saying? But honestly, I don't even think that's a problem. He's an entertainer. He's supposed to do an entertainment podcast. I don't care. Like, if you're doing the podcast for fun, have at it. And if it gets huge, great for you. Dude's living the dream, basically. But what pisses me off is when he comes after regular people, people who work way harder than he does, who do not have the luxury to escape the soul-crushing 9-to-5 grind like he was able to. And he's telling them, oh, you know, if you need time to deal with that, you know, the job wearing you down year after year after year, and then the additional bullshit added on by the horrible political climate and the religious zealots in the Supreme Court, he's telling those people to get fucked. Joe, I thought you were supposed to be a man of the people, real man of the people you are. No, now, what's funny is that some of his audience members on Reddit did not take kindly to this garbage. And they went on to point out his hypocrisy. I'm here for it. Let's read some of those. Turbo Dude 69 says, don't forget pre-COVID Joe saying work is dumb and people should quit their 9-to-5 job and follow their passion like he did with comedy/acting.
40-hour-a-week work week is bullshit.
Bullshit.
It's
You're not
bullshit.
productive that level.
Nobody should do it.
Not my real name says, yeah, it's almost like he's just parroting talking points from the idiot right. Links Osis says, this guy used to talk about the plight of the dead office job or the way people's lives suck, working 9-to-5. He's so out of touch, it's wild.
Well, it's just a weird standard that we've all accepted pretty much across the country. 9 to 5, 9 to 5, 9 to 5. Morning,
not even 9 to
Sam.
5.
Morning, Bob. 9 to 5.
A hungry little sandwich says, absolutely unbelievable the pivot he has made here. It is not stupid, says, he has become so bitter, it's hard to watch. It is so cringe to watch him make fun of snowflakes, when in reality, he is constantly bitching about the same things for years now. Maybe he does need a health day. Yeah, maybe take some of that advice. Fridge Water Filter says, I would like to see Joe, Jocko, or any of these celebs clock into an office and be trapped for 8 to 12 hours doing a menial job with no recognition. Their work is typically low hours, infrequent, very interesting, and has a positive feedback loop from others. Normal work does not. I think those are excellent points. It's kind of how I feel as well about normal work. This is why I do what I do, and this is exactly why Joe Rogan does what he does.
That I could not exist in a regular job. I didn't have it. Whatever it was like it was radioactive. Like I would take construction jobs and it was like I was being poisoned. Yeah. You know, it was like literally like I was getting radiation.
Big Bill Brunzi says, this dude's been on a mental health break since he worked for 2 weeks on a construction site in 1987. Hasn't worked a real job since the Berlin Wall fell. Mike 2 Guy 69 says, I like mental health days. I hope we bully corporations into thinking this is a thing. I've never taken one, but I've also never used my airbags. Good to know they're there. That's a really based comment. I love it. Absolutely love it. Yes, I'm in favor of bullying corporations into giving us benefits. That would be great. Hey, you know what organization will do that? A union. Junior Dos Nacho says, I used to be a big Joe Rogan fan before the pandemics and fully subscribed to the work hard, get successful, whatever you were doing thing. And I do work hard, and did so for over 2 decades since I was a teenager. But there are mental consequences for this lifestyle, especially once you have kids and once in a century pandemic begins. During these couple of years, I took a few days off work, and they were either COVID related or the mental breakdown days. I'm glad that Joe doesn't have any inherited mental issues, but he's got to understand that some people do. Some of us actually do work hard and even work out and shit. Some of us even try to eat healthy. Shut the fuck up, Joe. You had so many guests you could learn this from. This is not grown-up smart man talk at all. Oh, that's an especially brutal comment. And I love it because it's right. You can work your ass off in this country and get absolutely nothing for it because you're not working for yourself. You're literally working for a corporation that is taking the value of your labor and putting it in your pockets, or I'm sorry, in their pockets instead of yours. You should get the value of your labor, not the executives. Spaced Out Carmenade says this, I saw a post that explained it perfectly today. America's a country where it's expected to have a family and that both parents be breadwinners with none of the infrastructure to take care of the kids. Well, that's right-wing corporate rule for you right now. And then adds, well, thankfully, this new Supreme Court ruling will put even more young women in the position of being unwed mothers needing government support. Unfortunate and true. Deep Sea Max says, this is a guy that used to talk about how every job that wasn't being a comic was horrible, bad for you, and added no value to society. I miss the old Joe. Yeah, what happened, man? What happened to the Joe Rogan that actually used to be kind of interesting? And look, the guy's always had a really, really bad track record on trans rights. So he's always been really, really terrible in that regard. But when it came to, I don't know, other topics, like, for example, some left-wing issues, like labor rights, he actually was like, yeah, kind of interesting, had some good opinions on that. And so, and by the way, having open mind on lefty policy. But now, it just seems like he's another run-of-the-mill right-winger. And you know why? It's because he's surrounded by right-wingers. That's all he talks to anymore. On the first video that I showed you of him trashing people, trashing women, he was talking with Gad Sad, I believe. Not a good guy. Not a good guy at all. Massive right-winger. And again, that's who he surrounds himself with. And so, now, this means a couple of different things. Or could mean a couple of different things. That Joe Rogan never had an original thought in his head to begin with. And only, like, seems to get his opinions through osmosis from the people he hangs around. Not a very intellectual guy. Although, he's never said that he was. Or, the other thing is, no, I mean, he sees the money. He sees where the money and where the viewership is. And that's to the right wing. It ain't on the left. The money and views, you can look at this video, it'll get a couple thousand tops. Not because left-wing positions aren't politically popular. No, there are many different reasons. You have a lot of content creators that are on the left that are competing in this space. Nothing wrong with healthy competition. But there's only so many people that watch political content to begin with. And so the people that tend to be the most engaged are right-wingers online. And so I can attest to that personally. Either way you slice it, whether or not he is doing this for the audience capture from the right wing or trying to appeal to the right wing because views are down when it comes from the left, or he genuinely is just an idiot and seems to agree with basically anyone who happens to be in the room with him. Or I don't know. I mean, this is your brain on right-wing ideology, though. This is what they're all about. A corporate state, corporate feudalism that tells people, no, I don't care about your feelings. Get your ass back to work. That's all you are to me is productivity. That's all we care about. It's sad. But it is heartening to see that some of his viewers seem to be catching on.